All right, guys, early morning workout on the exercise bike. So forgive me for the audio and the heavy breathing, but uh, this will be a short form video. We'll put out a longer form video later, but just wanted to talk about the strategy I used to land a software engineering job in 2025. So barring the years and years and years of experience, coding, learning, teaching, all those things that helped build up to where I am now, which is not to be discounted, I would say that the strategy I used is unique in that a lot of times career coaches or whatever will tell you, volume of applications. So just go out, spray and pray, put out tons and tons of applications and play the numbers game, which for me and a lot of the people that I mentor, I just haven't seen that working in the current climate. So what I did is initially I saw a role for a company that I thought would be really cool to work for. Their mission is really cool, but also the technology stack that they're using was one that I admired and had some experience in. So that caught my eye. The role that was open was not one that I could take because it was a hybrid role in a city that I did not live in. And so I've just planted a seed. First, I shared that role with the community, friends, and people in my network, hoping that someone else could take it, but also reached out to the hiring manager just to let him know that I was interested, and hopefully a role that's fully remote would show up in the future and I'd be keeping an eye out. So that was back in June of last year. And then fast forward to, I think, November of last year. And sure enough, a role opened up that was essentially the same role, but it was remote. So I went ahead and applied for it. And in addition to having already kind of planted the seed, having that direct message contact with the hiring manager and being able to follow up and say, hey, I saw that you have the remote version of this role now and I applied. So increasing the chances of my application being seen. I also went a little bit further than that and very quickly wrote an application that used the technology stack for the role that I was applying for, but also the content of the application mirrored what I was hoping the company website would have in terms of features and content. So I did some research on the company, used the tech stack, created a little toy application, CRUD app, that had a bunch of resources that mirrored what I assumed a website or application would have for the type of company that I was trying to apply for. And so as soon as I had that done, I think I turned that around in like 24 hours. I sent that along with my application just to really reinforce for the hiring manager that I was genuinely interested in the role and capable of completing whatever task they would need me to complete if they were to employ me. So these types of strategies, I feel like, help you stand out in a crowd and increase the likelihood of at least getting visibility on your application and getting in for an interview, which of course is the first step. Once you get into the interview, of course, then it's up to you to prove that everything you've said thus far is true and that you are capable of the things that you claim to be capable of. So fortunately that got me the interview. And then after the initial interview, I had a take home. So take homes are great as opposed to like a leak code style live coding type interview, which I'm not a huge fan of, but have done plenty of. And I just feel like take homes are nice because they show a different side of your abilities. To be able to do something like leak code, in person or remotely over a Zoom call or a video chat is fine. Shows your ability to solve problems under pressure, shows that you understand common programming patterns and that you have experience in that side of the development sphere. But with regards to take homes. I feel like it opens up a whole nother level of your ability to be creative and show off your skill set. So got the take home, and sure enough, it was something that was kind of open to interpretation and allowed me to have some agency in how I wanted to solve it. And so I could have done it full stack, could have done it mostly back end, but I ended up focusing on the front end and built the whole thing out using front end technologies. So HTMX, Alpine JS, and then for styling, Tailwind CSS. And so that was a large portion of the tech stack. Just took out the back end, which is Django, which I'd already exhibited to the hiring manager that I knew how to do Django because that's what I did with my toy app that I submitted with my application. So was able to do well enough with the take home that they brought me on for more interviews, and ultimately it ended up in me getting an offer that I was able to accept and get into the role. So basically, to wrap things up, the strategy that was used here was if I didn't mention this already, you want to look for something that you're going to enjoy doing. So I had purposefully found companies that were using tech stacks that I liked working in. So rather than just, I'm a JavaScript developer, I'm a Ruby developer, whatever it may be, and then going out and finding a company that's enterprise Java, you do it because you're a developer or whatever, that's fine. But personally, I knew that I wanted to put my hands on technologies that were exciting and fun to work on for me, and that's what I went out and found. So having a specific intention about the type of company you want to work for, not just the tech stack, but also whatever the mission is of the company, the size of the company, the flexibility in terms of hybrid, remote, or on-site, so on and so on. So make sure that all those boxes are checked for you, because what's the point of spamming a bunch of applications and then you get an interview for a company that doesn't check all your boxes? So you're just wasting their time and your own time. So be intentional about the job that you want, because it'll make it a lot easier to be self-motivated to go out and go the extra mile during the application process to do things like create a toy application or something that will help you stand out as an applicant. And so that was the strategy that I employed here, and fortunately it worked really well for me. Hopefully some of you can take this advice and put it to work with your current job seeking process. If you do and it works out for you, let me know in the comments below. If you have other strategies that you've seen work in the past or are currently working for you, would love to hear about those also. Regardless of that, looking for a job sucks, and hopefully this advice is helpful for you. Either way, do not quit. That is my biggest piece of advice. Stick with it. The only people that I ever see not get jobs since the time that I started in this career until now are the people that give up. Everyone that sticks with it always gets a job. Period. End of story. Do not give up.